that we are not where we're supposed to be as a country, but there's something being done and you can be part of it. Before, of course, you meet my next guests, take a look at this.
Ilikuwa ngumu sana kwangu mimi nikiwa na mimba na tena nimepoteza mtoi. Hata sikuwa napanda gari cause naona nitampita kwa barabara nikiwa ndani ya gari. Sasa nilikuwa natembea tu the whole day, mimi niko tu kwa barabara.
It is impossible to describe the agony and effort that families go through to hunt for their missing relatives. And it's even more scary when the missing person is a child. Many families have had to live for a number of years and are yet to find their loved one. Where do you begin the search? Where do you get help from? Do we have the necessary resources in the country to ensure that all the children know exactly what to do if something happens? Missing Children Kenya have put all its efforts behind trying to help Kenyan families relocate their loved ones in response to an emergent phenomenon of missing, lost and unidentified children in the country. Over the past few years, media in Kenya have increasingly reported heart-rending cases of children who have been separated from their caregivers in various parts of the country.
Wakatoka supermarket cross. Sasa ndiye akakumbuka kwamba hajanunua ndizi ya mama. Kupiga macho pandili kwingine akaona ndizi kwa kibanda. Ndiye akamwambia Maureen, nenda ununue nini? Ndizi. Flavor anasema lorry trailer ili cross pole pole ikamblock, angeweza kuona nani? Maureen. Sasa baada ya trailer kutoka kuangalia pala kuona Maureen.
These cases point to an issue that requires preventative and responsive interventions and proactive investigation. The main aim is to come up with a workable solution with policymakers and law enforcers, and to provide education on child security to children, caregivers, and of course school officials. The main vision is to have a country where children are conscious of personal security and are conversant with national services on child protection and security as well. A society that is empowered to take caution and supported effectively by law enforcement can really eradicate the case of missing children.
Indeed, there is help out there. Is it enough? That is, of course, the question. This morning, I'm joined by three ladies, Meg Mureithi, Jessica Muhindi, and Joan Birika. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being
here.
It is one of the saddest, I think, topics that you can have is missing loved ones. But I think it's important that that we are having this conversation, because for many people, they just don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Meg, you are a mother of two beautiful boys.
Yeah.
Tell us your story.
My name is Margaret Mureithi. I have a boy called Ivan, the biggest one, now 9 years and 8 months. And the little one is 5 months old. I love them so much.
Yeah.
Ivan, I've raised Ivan as a single mother. His dad died in 2011. I've been a mother and a dad and everything to him. Ivan has always been a good, responsible boy since he was growing up. And he was sometimes living with the aunt because sometimes I would go far away working, like taking things from Uganda, coming selling in Kenya, from one company to another. So I found it easy even to stay with the aunt. But later I came back, settled with my small baby, and decided now I have to take Ivan back and stay with me because I'll be like permanently being with him. So last week, we are talking about last week, Ivan was kind of wanting to experience the life outside here. So he went on like, I have to send him to the shop when he's back to school. He comes, play, then get some drink, tea or something, and gets on with the homework. We eat, then that's done. But this day on Monday, he came back from school, took some tea, went to play. Coming back, I had forgotten to buy his brother some Pampers. I had to give him some 250 bob. Ivan, go get me Pampers outside the shop. Ivan went, I can say maybe he forgot. He started playing with the other kids. Instead of coming back to tell me, Mama, pesa zimepotea, Ivan decided, Mama will beat me up. He had to like go to the uncle's place and tell the uncle, I've lost Mama's pesa, kindly go help me, stand with me, Mama, not to like punish me or quarrel. Because like 3 days before that, he had lost like 1,000 bob.
Okay.
And we argued like a brother and a sister. Ivan, don't ever do this. Be responsible, boy. You're now growing. You have a brother. You have to be responsible because of him. You're growing up to be a good man. So I thought maybe Mama will be so much with pain. He said, okay. That was then when the 1,000 bob lost. But this one, he said, no, Mama,
she'll be
have
angry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he will. So he decided to go to the uncle's place. The uncle was not in. He knocked on the gate, but no one opened. At the place where the uncle lives, there is a garage, a parking where the uncle parks their vehicles. He thought maybe if I stay here, I'll see the uncle coming. Let me stay here, wait for the uncle. If I'll see him on the gate, I'll hop out, go find the uncle, talk to him. But instead, when he got inside one of his uncle's vehicles, he slept off. My boy slept off till
Kabisa.
morning.
What is going through your mind at that time?
By that time, I was like, I'm going crazy. But like 10 minutes after he had left, because it's a 1 minute place, my heart leaped. I said, oh no, this can't be
There's
real.
something wrong.
Yeah, there's something wrong. Ivan doesn't do this. I went out, asked to the shops, like 3-4 shops. I was told nobody was here. We know your boy, he wasn't here. I called the uncle immediately. There was no response. I talked to 2 neighbors who were the good mamas. We went out, started looking for Ivan at uncle's place. Other friends who school with him, they were like, let's go find him in another friend's house. We went, no, there, another one. We went like 5 houses. Ivan was nowhere.
You must have been going nuts.
A lot. I was now like, something must be wrong.
Okay.
But I took courage. Like around 9 p.m., I said, no, this can't be true. I leaped into the FB, Twitter, started chatting with people, kindly send this to as many people as you know. There is one page I love most. It's Hello Mama. Hello Mama, I love you all.
They're great, huh?
They are really great. They prayed with me. They were there for me. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
More than like 1,000 women, if you can check on it, they all prayed with me, say, kindly Mama, be cool, all will be well. I was like every time chatting with people, every time call coming at around 1, going to 2 p.m., 3 p.m., I was still on.
Okay.
Every little slight outside, like, I would wake up, go out, check maybe if it's him. Waking up in the morning, I went to the school, he wasn't there, and I was like, something must be wrong. The uncle came, the one with the gari came. We started walking over to the police stations, trying to find him everywhere. So on one of these police stations, I want to mention, I was asked, Mama, your kid has just lost for like 3 hours and you're here asking for your kid.
Right.
Others have lost even 5 days. Be cool, the kid will come. He's only 9 years, he'll be here. That was how I was being told.
You'll tell us a lot more about that.
Yeah.
But were you able on this second day?
I wasn't able. I had not eaten my supper, not taken tea. I have a baby who's breastfeeding, and I was like, something must be wrong.
I have to find my
Yeah.
son. Okay. Of course, you'll tell us a little bit. You did find him.
Yeah, I did find him
Okay.
at long last.
Tell
After
us-
20 hours.
Okay, you'll tell us exactly how you find this beautiful young boy and what it's been like for the past week or so. That's just last week.
Yeah.
That's just last week. Jessie, she is one woman and a mom who represents many Kenyans across this country who did start within those first 10 minutes of worrying. And she's lucky, but for many parents, and especially on the ground, they're not able to get to that happy ending. What can you say based on your ground knowledge?
I know she could get worried because, there are people who are taking children and they disappear for good. So I know she could get worried. But thank God she got the child back. Yes.
What kind of experiences can you say? And Joan, come in on this one. It's very. I think it's something so personal for a lot of parents who have been through it. But in terms of and they say this across the world, the first 24 hours are so crucial in finding your loved one. Where are we in Kenya?
Absolutely, thank you. Kobe, it's a really gray area, so to speak. We have taken a lot of time as the Missing Children Kenya, the Center for Missing Children Kenya, just to study the scene and see what happens, who is out there helping on what, and where can moms like Meg or dads like Meg go for help and seek help, or Jessica here who works right in the ground in Mathare area. And it's unfortunate that we're not seeing that there's a standard practice when it comes to missing children cases, where you can say the following people will jump, the police will jump and do the following, the chief's role is this and that. They all have a role. This is a law enforcement issue. It's a security issue, and it's possible. It's quite possible that what is lacking are the actual regulations or something to go by. And much of the time where the police and other law enforcers are jumping into action is where they have recognized a crime. There's a cognizable crime like an abduction. Then you will see action in a sense, yeah. But look at Meg's case. Ivan, not strayed, but kind of ran away in a sense, ran away from home. But when you present such a case, it will be like, oh, don't worry about that one. Oh, he'll come. Atarudi. And the problem with that is, for the time that Ivan or a child such as Ivan is missing, they are exposed to grave harm. They are exposed to all kinds of exploitation, harm, abuse, abduction and trafficking even. And so those moments are so crucial. When you say 24 hours, I think for a child, the first hour, the moment in our thinking as a Center for Missing Children, we're saying, how do you define a child as missing? And it's exactly what Meg said. When a child is absent or not at the place of primary care that they ought to be, and they're absent without authority, and in circumstances that tend to raise alarm to the caregiver, consider the child missing and get up and do something. Don't wait.
Absolutely.
Get up and do something. I like the fact that she's mentioning some of the tools that we can use. Definitely the police service, definitely our chiefs, our children officers who are spread out across the country. These are duty institutions, and we are lending support to them in any way we possibly can as child rights institutions. But also, let's use our networks, let's use our social media, let's use Kobe and NTV and stations across the radio and all others to really raise, so that we solve these cases as fast as possible.
And that is the thing, time is of essence. Time is of essence. I don't even know how you went and slept or even tried to, and woke up in the morning. I can't even imagine what you were going through, Meg. But in that initial morning after going to school, you obviously knew that this is now a serious situation. I need to go to the police.
Yeah.
What is going through your mind when you are with the police officers? Did you believe that they would leap into action and immediately start to help? And what actually happened?
I went to the police station at around 11 p.m. at night.
Okay.
That's when it was like so serious. My boy is missing. I reported, went back in the morning, the same places. I had gone to like 3 chiefs camp and 4 police stations. I went back again round, trying to know, has anyone come saying they've brought a kid or this or this? No one answered me. But in my mind, I was knowing, I knew maybe someone could have brought him, and I was told, go back with the kid. My mind was reading all that. But every time I went back, I was told, Mama, if anyone comes with the kid, we must tell you. If anyone comes with a kid called Ivan, you've given us, we must tell you. That was their word. Yeah.
Did you feel that they were giving you the necessary help,
No.
support?
I wasn't feeling safe.
Really?
No.
I mean, and that's the thing, and Jessica, you can talk to us about that, because you do work on the ground with many, many parents who are missing their children, and I'm sure you work with the police as well.
Yes.
What is it like on the ground when it comes to that connection between parents and police officers and everyone working towards a concerted effort to find some of these missing babies? What can you say?
What I can say is that, you know, police, sometimes they don't take that time because they don't have time to go on ground and look for children who are missing. Maybe they get a child when the child is brought in the station, and that is what they can tell the parent, that your child will be brought here if anybody finds.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all they're relying on, is that a citizen, a good Samaritan somewhere will get the child. And it's their job, isn't it? But Joan, come in on this one. There is really, there's a gap there, because the police are overwhelmed. Just think about what happened this weekend. Alone when it comes to insecurity. You know, when you start to look at the scope of issues our police officers are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, and majority of them are good people who really do want to protect and serve. But they don't have the time, they don't have the resources, they don't have the capacity. And as you said, there's many, many people out there who are willing to harm children. Where do we start as a country to start to say that it's not just about police officers? We all need to really put our hands together in a concerted effort and have maybe 1,000 Jessicas would be fantastic in every community, but it's not the case, is it?
Absolutely. You've stolen the words right out of my mouth because exactly that. This is, let's go back to days when the village looked upon children as their own, where we actually did take care of other kids, no matter whose they were or where they were coming from, that we cared. Unfortunately, the bad seems to overshadow the good most of the time, because in equal measure, there's lots of good Samaritans out there. Persons like myself, like Jessica, and many others who could be acting on this issue, we're just regular Kenyan people. I'm just a regular Kenyan advocate, a trained lawyer who has decided that I won't sit back and accept that we can be having families or children languishing in the streets, in children's homes, in people's Good Samaritans' houses, and yet they have family looking for them. Let's just wake up and do something about it. So it's about looking at the policy level and what's available there that we can exploit to the fullest. We have a fantastic constitution that guarantees that children should have primary care from family. So let's enforce that. Let's make sure that can happen. We have duty institutions, and all we need is to support them, give them whatever tools, skills, and technical help that they may need. And of course, all this comes through a lot of dialogue with policy level, and then join hands as actors, whether we are institutional actors or we are individual goodwill ambassadors and so forth, and really just say, look, this is a problem and it can be solved. There's very simple ways, for example, to start to prevent from educating our children on security, not in an alarmist way, but in a way that really tells you have the capability to know what to do.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Does Ivan, for example, know mommy's number in case he actually went missing in another method? Could he have been able to call you? Do we, you know, we have tools. We have the telephones. We have again the social media and other methods that we can really quickly pass information today.
And it's crucial that, you know, as we're getting all this information together, that the little ones know,
Yeah.
you know, that this is what we're doing,
Yeah.
that Ivan knows, you know what, next time this is what's going to happen. Take us now to the moment, I want to know how you even found him, what was going through your mind, and how is he doing?
The moment he's doing fine. Just left him like he was preparing to go to school with the aunt. And the time we found him, Ivan was so apologetic. And he told me, Mama, I promise I'll never do this again.
Where did you find him, Meg?
Okay, we were coming back home from the police station. The uncle saw him across the road, like he wants to cross the road. Going, like, there was a shop nearby, crossing the road. Maybe he wanted to go find something, or maybe wanted to go look for the uncle. There is a place where they like sitting. The uncle stopped immediately on the road. Pop. We were almost knocked down by another vehicle. He gotten out of the vehicle, rushed to him. Ivan was like, he's alarmed. Why are these people shouting at me? He was like turning back to start running again. But he stood still. Uncle went for him, came back with him in the vehicle, we drove home. The moment I saw him, I even never wanted to even talk or do anything. I started crying of happiness now.
Yeah.
I just felt I'm whole again.
Right.
Again, I'm alive. Yeah, that's how I felt.
And where was he? What happened?
He had slept, I told you he had slept over at the vehicle where the uncle parks the vehicle, because he wanted to wait for the uncle,
Yeah.
come explain to him, so that he comes with the uncle at my home to
Akasinzia.
tell me, yeah, he slept off.
Yeah.
So he woke up in the morning when I think the matatu were trying to hoot on the road. He heard the sounds. That's when he woke up. He saw maybe there was no one around. 2 of the vehicles were already left. So he knew the uncle is already out. He has to start looking for him outside there.
I can't imagine a 9-year-old going through this. I can't, you know, it's scary to even
Yeah,
think
it
about
is.
a young boy just being out there so vulnerable.
Maybe Meg can also tell us that she did come across other children and other moms hunting while she was on the hunt.
Really?
It is not a once-off
Right,
scenario.
exactly. Tell us about that side
Yeah,
of it.
oh, when I went to the police station, there was a mama. We met like 2 mamas there. One was reporting, and the other one was also asking if there was a kid who had been brought there.
Wow.
And on the way, when we were going, we found like 2 kids being taken to the police station to be, I think, reported missing. And one of them was so hungry, he even had stayed like 3 days out. There's a group called Multipurpose Dandora, I salute you. They took the boy, fed him, and he was taken to the chief. That's where I think he got the mama, but I never followed up to know if he got the mama, but I know he was taken there.
And one of the things I can certainly say, ladies, is that even in the time that we are having this discussion, Kenyan children will go missing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even in the time that we're sitting here as you're watching this show, there are children who will go missing. Jessica, tell us and help us understand that there are people out there who wake up in the morning and their mission is to kidnap a child and to sell them off. And these people do exist in our communities. There are people who will really, their incentive is just to kidnap or to take someone else's child. And that child will never be seen again. It has happened many times. What can you say?
That one has happened. Their parents, or their people who are just ready to transfer children from Kenya to Uganda, from Uganda to Kenya, from Tanzania to Kenya, from Kenya to Tanzania. In fact, there was a time when we got a child who had come from Kitale 6 years ago.
Wow.
He had stayed 6 years now in Nairobi. So that child was always in school, but she was not feeling happy. She was asked, you know, this place is not our place. I know my mom is there, and my brother and my grandmother, They are in Kitale. Now, she was staying with somebody in Nairobi, but she was taken with another lady from Kitale, and she put her in the bus to here. Then this girl has stayed out for 6 years.
I can imagine what the
But
family
when
is
she
going
was talking to the other pupils in school, you know, they reported to the school administrator. The school administrator reported the case to us. We went to the school, we talked to the child, and then after some times we took the child. And we traveled to Kitale with that child. We tried to manage with the help of the chief in Kitale, Milimani location. We looked for the parents and we managed to trace the grandmother. We took the grandmother to the DCO's office where we left them to solve the next of the problem.
Of course. Reunions are great, and it's a beautiful thing when families can finally reunite. Before we find out about some of the vulnerable groups, and there's different, there's different missing groups. Let's take a caller, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
My name is mimi naitwa Isha.
Okay, Evelyn, endelea.
Sasa mimi niko na sita wangu akiwa huku na
Sema tena tukusikie vizuri.
Nasema nilikuwa nyumbani kitambo kidogo, alafu mtoto nikamwacha mtoto na mama yangu. Alafu nilikuwa huku Nairobi nikapata baba yake alikuwa na yake na wasaidia maadili mtoto wa sahihi.
I think the line is we might have an issue with the line. Can we try and get Evelyn back?
Hello.
Continue.
Nauliza. Nilikuwa nataka watu wanisaidia na hiyo mtoto.
Bado unamtafuta?
Bado tunatafuta njoo. Hata hivi tunaongea tuwezi kuwa mahali hapo.
Okay.
Ya baba atikita.
Okay.
Na baba yake wakati nilitoka huko Nairobi nikatembea nikasikia mahali yako. Nikaenda kumtafuta kapata.
Okay.
Walikuwa na kutaka nikataka tafanya.
All right. Evelyn, pole sana, but John, her case is unique. It's a bit different. The child is with the father, but to her, this is her missing child.
Yeah, that's true.
What can you say to her?
That's true. You are right in saying there's different ways in which children go missing, and yes, the interventions have to be unique to each whatever circumstances. There are family abductions, yes, which is based upon custody contests. When there's a divorce going on, when a father and mother are separating, sometimes it's unfortunate that such sometimes use bait of the children, let me grab so that I draw her back, or that tussle around, but centered on children, which is not correct. And that's why the courts are there to intervene. Courts are available to actually determine custody and rightful custody and arrange the visitation and all other kinds of arrangements. But people are often not using that mechanism. We do the push and pull, and that's not in the best interest of the children.
Because the father of this child needs to realize that this child needs their mother.
Yes, and what it is that they're not looking at it from the point of view of the child. They're looking at it as, let me hurt her feelings, let me hit back at him. If she wants some maintenance for the child, then let them come back home. There's all these kind of funny struggles that take place, and it's unfortunately a big percentage of abductions are actually family-related abductions. We rely on, for example, statistics from the US, where they actually really monitor the issue of missing children, and they're able to decipher how many of these cases are related to what aspect. Stranger abductions are actually a very minority amount of abductions that take place. They are the most complicated of cases, granted, and they get the most publicity, but generally speaking, they're not as many as runaway children, as family abductions, as strays, like wandering off. The little toddlers can walk away and just not know where to go.
True, yeah.
There's also children who run away from abusive homes and from domestic violence and such related, and those who are just truant also, who
Right.
just want to live out there and, you know, try a life on their own. So there's very different ways that this is happening, and we have to pay attention to all these levels, and that's why as a Center for Missing Children Kenya, we want to unravel this maze of issues
Right.
and just figure out who's acting on what. And then there's a whole list of also ritualistic type of activities. We've seen those. We've seen them in, I think, in the Western Kenya. There have been reports on the media. The Nation covered a
What do you
story
mean?
there. Children getting taken away. And when you look at the case, when they're finally found, they're found dead, unfortunately.
Okay.
And they're found with certain elements of ritual-like, you know, harm that has been caused on their bodies. And I cannot say much because it's a very sensitive area, and we have to also all work as a team and really get the government to check on these trends that are taking place. We had a case called in from Nanyuki, for example, and the same issue happened, the same kind of motivated killings of children,
Yeah.
which is very strange, and somebody's got to investigate those things so that we stop other children from getting abducted. We've got obvious cases of albinism, children who are of albinism, and certain, I don't know what kind of ritual sects those are,
Yes.
that kind of try to abduct and transfer these children to out across the borders. And I know that Parliament will be looking also. We have a good champion there,
Yes.
Honorable Maura,
Yes.
you know, looking at those issues and saying, why is this happening and how can we actually intervene as a society?
Okay.
Yeah, so.
I think it's important to say that, you know, regardless of the age of a child, I think there does come a time when they're very aware, you know, and we say that all the time on this show. Be careful what you say around children.
Yeah.
They're smarter than we
Exactly.
think, and that we give them credit for. Ivan knew that he had done something wrong, and he even
Yeah.
apologized, didn't he?
Yeah,
Tell
he
us
did.
about that very tough conversation to have with your son.
Oh, we talked, but when he came back, he washed, ate, slept. After sleeping for like 3 hours, he woke up. No one was around me. We were just me, him, and his brother. He came, hugged me, told me, Mama, I'm sorry I did this. It was because I thought maybe you will be harsh on me. I had to go look for the uncle because I wanted him to come help me talk to you. I was like, I was like with my handkerchief,
Yeah.
not even wanting to beat him, now being happy because he's found one and because he's apologetic. He knew he had done a mistake and he came back so down low and thought, kumbe mama is this humble
Right.
also.
Yeah.
So mama kumbe anaweza rudi chini
Yeah.
kunibembeleza bado. So we gotten up along.
Okay.
Yeah, from then, even if I want to send him, he asked me, is it right for me to go, Mama? And it's just daylight. He has to
But
ask
it's
me.
good.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's a good thing for that he's that responsible. And it's very, very important as we wind up. And this is, guys, the beginning of a huge conversation this month of November, where we are, of course, going to try very much so to start this conversation here on AM Live and TV, and to ensure that if you know someone, all right, if you know anyone, if you, of course, think that you recognize a child who seems out of place and things seem odd, listen, you have to write to us. We will go ahead, of course, and connect you to these two wonderful women who are doing great, great things on social media, and of course with you as well. But for us, it's important for parents to know that your children are sometimes scared of you. They're sometimes scared of
Yeah.
a slipper and a belt, and they will
Yeah.
run off, and you might not see them again. Jessica, isn't that true?
It is true, because there are some who are saying that if I ate something, when Mamu had not told me, then she came, she beat me, I ran away. There are some who say my dad beat me because my shoes got torn in school, so I decided to keep off because I'll be beaten to hell.
And they need to know that the first thing that the parents care about is love and for them to be safe. Isn't this right, Joan?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And also to give those tips and tricks and tools to children so that just in case, inadvertently, that there is a separation, that they know what to do, who to seek for help from, and not just run, get completely lost and unable to trace their way back.
Okay. Ladies, it is an honor and a pleasure having you here. We can talk about this, I think, all day, but we will have you back, especially Joe, so you can just tell us where we are, where we're headed, and how we can really start to have a solution-based conversation. It's been a pleasure. Meg, thank God your baby is back home.
I'm glad.
Give him a huge hug from us. Huge hug. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everyone. And of course, that is one conversation that has really, really started and will spearhead trying to relocate and to reunite some of these families. It's very, very important. If you know anything, log on to NTV Kenya, log on to AM Live NTV, tell us exactly what kind of information you have. And listen, we're also looking for volunteers to help out there, all right? So we all need to band together and ensure that these families are remaining intact and to stop some of these really, really bad cases from becoming tragic. All right, everybody? Okay, thank you, ladies. We asked you a question earlier on the show. Here it is one more time before we wind up so I can give you the answer and the winners. It is right there. How long was the longest movie made and what was the title? And the answer is The Cure for Insomnia, 85 hours long, was the length. Imagine that. Can you imagine watching a movie for 85 hours? Who has that time? Linda Mbaraga, via SMS, congratulations, you've won yourself some money. Okay, good stuff. And then Bethwell Murkomen, you've won yourself a t-shirt. Meg, you want to tell me who won the mug?
Bradley Juma.
Bradley Juma has won themselves a nice mug from AM Live. Okay, that's us done. All right, thank you guys very, very much. Let's work together to make this country safe, to make it better for the future generations to live in. A lot is going on, but there is something that each and every single one of us can do to stop some of these really, really tragic situations from happening. All right, think about that. Make the day count. I'll see you right here tomorrow morning. Bye. Asanteni. Asanteni sana. Thank you, thank you. Drink your water, please. I'm sure your mouths are so dry.